that we are now going to be working on is assertiveness. But how can we separate this idea of self from assertiveness? How can we separate the idea of confidence from assertiveness? Self-assuredness from assertiveness? It's next to impossible to segregate these two ideas. So we will have to begin at a topic which we have somewhat created earlier. We have had a little discussion on earlier. It is also a refresher. But this time when we discuss, we are in a position of having gone past the early introduction of what we did in the last week. So we will have a little discussion of what happens when we have an individuation, a separation exercise, in which a child comes to know its separate identity. And then we will once again begin from there and then create. This time when we begin to create a discussion coming from individuation, we've created in the context of interaction, interface with others. We will create it as an experience of us being in presence of others, what are our concerns in that space. But at the same time, we are beginning at the same place. Do please feel most welcome to stop me at any time if you'd like another clarification. So, as we spoke about once earlier as well, as children, as babies, as infants, we were pure and we were born having a full experience of ease, wonder, and grace. There was no tension, there was no concern for me in the world, because the world and me were same. You and the world were all one. And there was perfect, pure innocence, simple and pure. The experience of the baby, experience of the child was that I'm okay and the world is me. I can touch anything I want. I can take anything I want. If I feel a physical pain, I express myself fully. If I feel any kind of concern, I express myself fully. But there is no need for me to make myself small and separate. And in all religious texts, one way or another, gurus also bring ourselves and invite us to once again experience the simplicity of a child. Once again, to experience from the purity of the child. And that is the experience that we are also missing. That ecstasy of being everything and all and being free is something that we do not have the power to forget. It was so beautiful that it's treasured in our memories as an experience. We do not have recollections of voicing it, but we know that experience of oneness, that experience of being loved by eternity and everything. It is with us, it is in our heart. And that's what all spirituality is trying to recreate. So we were born fully in this self-empowered context of ease, wonder, and grace. We were ever present to whatever the world was to offer, as if it is ourself. And then came a time wherein it was time for our separate identity to be created. It was the time when I was to be named. I became a name, and then I was reminded that there are rules to show up in the society. Do not spill milk, and do not do wrong things in school. Make your drawings properly. Sing properly. We went through that experience of judgment, pointing of flaws and corrections. But most of these flaws were unintentional. We were not doing it because as if we were aware about them. We were just expressing ourselves. The babies express themselves fully, even when they are pulling the hair of her mother. Most unintentional and free life was now beginning to be criticized, reprimanded, invalidated, unappreciated. So that created again and again a context which was brand new for the child, that I should be concerned for this guy. This person who's sitting in my seat is something that I have to be concerned about. And that concern began to be given certain shape, vocabulary. Now, that concern shaped who the child is in the future. We have had a discussion on this, that these concerns created the constant fundamental concerns for human beings. What is the definition of the word concern? Concern is just when I come somewhere, what do I pay attention to? What do I deal with? What do I address? And what must I take care of? What is drawing my attention? Those are my concerns. So, what is this baby now who has come to know her name and having also come to know that her lines on the notebook are not straight, her frock is not clean, something is not okay right now? She begins to have these concerns. The first is, let me look. Where am I not okay? Because definitely they've told me a million times, I am not okay. So I begin to show up as a question. Am I not enough? I am not enough. In fact, this question is more, the answer is yes. The ringing within the individual is an answer, yes, you are not enough. It shows up as a question. Am I not enough? Where am I not enough? Identify where am I not okay? What's wrong with me? But there is a deep doubt that as if yes, there is something not okay. Look, what is not okay? So the car is not okay. So job is not okay. My learning is not okay. My qualification is not okay. My relatives need an improvement. My life has not been perfectly fine. Even now, my spirituality can be improved a little bit more, a little bit more. So the effort becomes to be more, better, different. And also when I'm drawing attention of others, it becomes, I should look fine, I should be acceptable, I should be enough. So it becomes a should. I have to. We wake up to a should. As soon as the ego shows up, the first thing that it looks for is what is not okay. How can I be a better version of myself? What can I do to be more, better, and different? So the name of ego is as if not okay. That's one of the concerns. The second concern is, oh, it might be my fault because we've been told that it's your fault. You spilled the milk. You made the lines not okay. Your clothes are not okay. Something is not all right with what you did in school. Your friends were telling you how you did not run fast enough, how your singing was not okay, your marks were not 100%. And so you've been told to look, is it your fault? And the answer that rings from your heart is, it might be. So avoid being your fault, avoid responsibility. So it becomes an intuitive habit to avoid blame. Responsibility shows up now in the context of blame and avoiding and criticism and burden to be carried. Responsibility is no longer a happy thing, it becomes a burden. So now we are creating a new context of responsibility in our second section, when we created that responsibility is a willingness to be the reason of whatever is happening in my life, including my own emotions. We are creating a new context in which, in this conversation of responsibility, we are saying we are not including the topic of who is to blame, whose fault is it. That is a separate topic altogether. It's not in the concern on responsibility. So this is the second concern which shows up for the individual, that is it my fault? The third is that I may not be needed. I may not belong here. I'm not appreciated. I'm not acknowledged. I may not be needed. What difference am I making? I may not be making any difference. I may not belong where I am. Who appreciates me fully? Who needs me? So as if that need has to be now created, it is not there. In the heart, there is that feeling that I'm really not belonging where I am. I have to do something to deserve to fit in here. And then there is a concern that I have to deal with this tough world alone. I might be alone. My mother won't be able to help when I'm standing on the stage. My father won't be able to help when I'm running and my friends are saying you're not running fast enough. I have to deal with this on my own. I'm alone in all this. Cavalry is not coming. My parents are not coming. Nobody will be able to help me in dealing with the world. So I'm alone in all this. So and all of this sums up as I am not loved. So this is the constant fundamental concerns which create the context for the individual to show up in the world. It's ever present. It's always present. And now when this context is present, it brings in a certain result. It brings in a certain kind of agenda. When I'm not enough, then it creates, notice, all of this concern, all of this context that this is creating, notice that it's not comfortable to be with. Notice what is present in your body right now because of it. It is not easy to stand. It is not easy to experience. Because as if that's a place that, like the dark room that I just described in the corner, that I do not like to visit. It is unhealed. It's calling for our healing. But these are those concerns which we can't talk about. We cover them up. We try to look good. But how do we do that? First, we are ever in a state of assessment. We are always in a state of assessment. We'll talk about this in the next slide in a moment more, and I'll invite you to look at the assessments that we make. We are ever in comparisons. But these 4 truths or questions which appear like the answer is yes, these 4 or 5 truths which may be true for us, in our heart of heart, we fear them to be true, but we want to hide them, cover them, make up for them. We have to compensate for them, deal with them. It cannot be that I am wrong. I have to be right. It cannot be that I look bad. I have to look good and admirable. It becomes an urgent need to be validated. Otherwise, it's fundamentally invalidating for ego. And being the cause and responsibility we already spoke about. In this context, this concern and this agenda shows up as a need to be more, need to be better, need to be different. A need to make my own things, my own relatives, my own friends also more, improve them, fix them, make them better. And I have to be very careful in this world. I have to deal with this world because the world is bigger and mighty. I have to either be tough or very careful. I have to survive it. So it shows up. These are the concerns which show up. In this context, human being shows up as fragile, afraid, unable to something, small, misunderstood, unappreciated, alone, uncared for, unfortunate, and unloved. Notice within yourself the physical experience of this. Notice the discomfort of all this. Is this present for you? This experience of discomfort, the concern, what it is raising for you within your body. Can you notice the discomfort that is there on this account in your body? Can you see that? Yes? It's not easy to be with these thoughts. It creates an all-pervasive, ubiquitous context to show up in. It is the space in which life shows up. It is as if there in which all life shows up. It is so all-pervasive that you are not even attentive to it. You are not even aware about it now. Everything is in reaction to this context. You arrive at the scene already in response to these things. You are already showing up, dealing by it, dealing with it. Time doesn't heal it. Notice the feelings, the emotions which are present for you. Notice the physical sensation it gives. Notice and fully experience the physical sensations. Let the feelings be. Don't try to drive them away, because running from them sustains them. And as I said, we'll speak for a moment, and I'll invite you to consider how we show up in this world of constant assessment that we create. It is as if a realm of constant assessments. And here is where I'll invite you to think and share. Can you notice in your life, how do you show up as assessments? Constantly assessing, comparing, evaluating yourself and others. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I make better? Can you notice that there is assessments always present? Can you share? Is this present for you? Would you please share? Otherwise, it remains theoretical.
Yes.
Yes. Can you give an example or two? All of you, just give an example or two. Anyone can start.
Yeah. Shall I?
Sure.
So for me, the assessment or comparison comes on the peer part, like my peers earning more, getting more respect. So those kind of things come. Sometimes it comes to the younger ones also, if they are doing well in some way, in some part of the way, if of your behavior, then also the comparison will come. So I did that kind of a analysis somewhere. So I
Very
felt
good, Gaurav. Gaurav, also, I'll invite you to now also notice that where is it not present? In which aspect of life assessment is not present? Even in the area of spirituality, it is sometimes present that am I better tuned into to God than I was, say, yesterday, or as I should be? Can I be more tuned? Or meditation, can I meditate better? Can I be more silent inward? The assessment is ever on, even in the area of meditation. Just notice where is it not present. Rajiv or Vinayji, any examples?
Imagine a situation where the assessment is not going.
Rajiv, you're not very audible.
Okay. Is it any better now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying that there is hardly any reason, any area where there is no assessment, personal assessment going on. It's almost like madness to me, right? That radar is always on, scouting for that assessment. That am I better? Am I doing good? How do I compare with somebody? If there is nobody, then I start comparing with myself. Right? See, right? There is external world I am comparing to myself during the work hours. And then when that madness gets over, I start comparing myself to my previous situation. How was I doing financially 2 years back? How am I now? How was I happy 2 years back? Am I happy now? What assets did I have? Material assets. How were my relationships 2 years back? Now, what was my fashion and style 2 years back? What is it now? The time I am around conscious and not going to sleep, I don't think I am not assessing. Hardly a moment.
Brilliant. Notice that this assessment is present and it has served us also. It is not that it is not useful. It is very useful. Like, can you improve in your fitness? Can you improve your spirituality? Can you improve in your monetary goals? Can you improve your objectives? So they are very, very useful assessments. But at the same time, that child's way of being at ease is no longer available. Welcome, Ravi.
One more thing I want to add.
Yes, please.
One more
Go ahead. Go ahead, please. Rajiv.
One more thing I want to add is, I think in the last 2-3 years, maybe it's just that, see, I think everybody has experienced this. More you get exposed to something, more acutely aware we become. Even if you're watching a movie of Amitabh Bachchan, for example, and you watch it every day, when you sleep, when you get up, something is happening in your mind. You don't know. Subconscious is working. You will know each and everything there, right? Now, for last 2-3 years, I'm observing, this is my personal experience, but I'm sure it is common. We are in front of this TV screens or laptop screens. Everything we are being told, this is not the right way. Do it this way. You did it this way. There is a newer way of doing it, right? Because everybody needs to market something, including myself. So every time we are only negating ourselves or the past and then moving to the next. That constant thing is also playing in the background, that whichever way we are, it is not good. We have to go to something else.
100%. And Rajiv, notice that it is not originating only from out there. It's also that whenever I open the eyes, and my concern is how can I make it better?
Yes, exactly.
Did I open it? Did I wake up in time? Did I join in time? Did I do right thing?
Did I get out of the right side of the bed? That is the concern. That's joking, but that is the micro level at which we are
I
operating
have
now.
just washed my car. Where is it dirty?
Yes, exactly.
Notice. Absolutely.
Yes.
And the powerful work that you're doing, all of you are doing, you will discover that to get present to it, just on the other side of this coin is the freedom to be with it. So, what I'm inviting you to consider is that there is no area when it is not, you will not discover it. Even this idea to be free is to improve, fix it. Even this, we are trying to kind of get out of this situation, right? But the freedom is in being with the darkness. We will talk about it. You will experience it more fully. Vinay or Ravi or Vinay, anything that you would like to share? Okay, got it, Vinay. Ravi, you wanted to say something?
Not anything. No.
Got it.
Yeah.
So these assessments, notice the concerns which show up in these assessments. These show up as a certain kind of concerns. These assessments, this world of assessing, it creates a certain kind of concerns. And I'm inviting for 1 minute to be present and think. Outside the realm of assessment, just outside the realm of assessment, if there were no assessment, if you were not making the assessment, then what would be your concern?
Request you to kindly repeat what you said now.
I'll say that again, sir. So I was just creating for all of us, for myself as for you, that we are constantly in assessment, that I am assessing weather, I'm assessing my work, I'm assessing what I say, I'm assessing how I look, I'm assessing life and my people all the time. If nothing else, I'll keep assessing my thought also, if that thought good or bad. Now, my question is that I am as if in the world of assessments right now. And that has brought a certain kind of concerns to me. And that is what we will talk about in a moment. And I'll invite you to consider that it has a certain kind of concerns. Assess. Notice that there are certain concerns that brings. Some concerns which drive me to bring a certain reaction. Now, the powerful question I'm inviting you to pause in is as follows. Imagine that you have left the world of assessments. You've stepped out of it. What are the new concerns which will show up in that area?
So I'll tell you again that maybe it is just my personality and my interpretation. If there are no concerns, I suddenly start feeling shallow. I start feeling I am not improving. I am wasting my time. There has to be something I need to be fighting with or competing with. It does not subside. It takes time to subside. Like I have taken a 4 or 5 day break. I feel restless, right? I feel I don't have a list for making my day productive. So basically the ability to sit, restlessness, what we call.
Yeah.
Right? That becomes a concern.
How beautiful. So let me just clarify what Rajiv said. Rajiv is most welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. When I do not have a concern with anything that is in front of me or with whatever is going on, I have allowed myself to not be in the world of concerns for one second, one fraction of a minute. Then I am left looking for what can I be concerned about. I've left looking, where are things not okay? Let me find something. I can't be with things are not okay. I can't be with vacuum. Something has to be not okay. I can't be with just being. I have to be constantly becoming. Become better, become more better, different.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why it has happened, Amit. Why have I got conditioned like that? Is because it's not that this is like born like that. We are not born like that for sure, right? We also want to be carefree and enjoy the darkness and freedom to be and all of that. The world at least the world I lived in, they said, okay, I had my good time. After good time, I come back to the world and I'm like, okay, what do I have to do now? Somebody will come and say, you know what, 2 months back, I was working on this. And then the realization inside me and the guilt inside me, what was I doing 2 months back? Enjoying. What is this guy doing? Working hard. Today he's reaping the rewards. I am not. I have to work hard. These series of such learnings have made me like this. That's what my conclusion is.
Yeah, and notice, Rajiv, that we are passing the same to our children as well. I mean, it's not that it is outside us now. It is in
Not true. Absolutely.
it is in the context, like it is everywhere. It is ubiquitous. It is the air we breathe. It is in the television. I'm saying like air, not physically. I'm saying it's in the television, it's on the phone. Like you said, it is everywhere. And therefore, you have learned to be with such internal mental noise, improve, be better, more better, different. You see, the child was just being the child. But being, just be, was lost in becoming. Become better, become something more, something better, make something better. Notice that there is no longer being. The being was lost in becoming. Now, this is an invitation today, Rajiv and others. See, notice that we do not let ourselves be with ourselves not becoming, when we are not becoming. So we have learned not to be with the silence. We have to be doing something to be better, more better, different. And that is the unease that we are also running from. It's not that is giving us any relief. That race never ends. That climb never ends. It ends when we can be with ourselves. When we are able to fully be with ourselves. So there is just something that we can be fully present to. We will come back to that on what to do, how to do it. We will also explore, and that is the objective of this life also. But let's go back to what happens when we are in this realm, in this world of assessments. What is the context in the realm of assessments? What is the backdrop in which life shows up in the realm of assessments? As we said, on the one side, we are concerned about ourselves not being enough. There's something not enough. So I have to be more, better, different. We have established that. On the other side, there is this context of others. How are they? Observe, compare. So these assessments are showing up as me and them, me and comparison. And so I must compare, stretch, fix, improve, change, or survive. Remember this idea of working with others to fix them, to improve them, to change them, or to avoid being fixed, changed by them, because they are trying to change me now. This is as if the backdrop in which life shows up. This is the context in which the life is showing up for us. What does it mean? When I say the backdrop, I mean like we write on top of the blackboard. There is something already written. Some blackboard is already black. Only after that I can write on top of it. But the blackboard is already there. I stop paying attention to the blackboard. The blackboard is already there. That's the context. The context is already there. Now content shows up inside that. Content shows up. This is what is driving how I act. This is what is driving what actions I take. What are my concerns? So this is the context in which life shows up. And these are the kind of concerns which show up in the realm of assessments. Look good, look fine, to be socially acceptable, give right kind of wisdom to others, to give the right kind of gifts to my family members or to faraway relatives, dress up in a fashion in which I would be admired, to speak such things which are admirable, to carry those stuff, to wear such stuff which is admirable, or do not carry such stuff. By not carrying, you be admirable. Ravi and I were talking about how some people try to look good by buying expensive things, and other people look good by buying cheaper or not buying expensive things. The effort is the same. They are all trying. We are all trying to look better, look more admirable, look fine in our own eyes and other people's eyes. And then we have to be right. Have to be right. Cannot stand being wrong. Imagine if somebody tells you, God forbid, somebody tells you, you are wrong. It's fundamentally invalidating. Now, just allow this sentence to land on you. When I say to you, sir, you are wrong. I'm telling you, you are wrong. You're wrong, sir. Absolutely wrong. Notice how it goes and attacks me in the heart. I am this identity, this ego, which is being sustained by this effort of assessments and reaction to that. So anything that attacks it is invalidating me. I have come to call my rightness as myself. I have to come to call this how I look as myself. I have to come to call my assessment as myself. And so I must protect this assessment. It is right. This person is right. No, Amit, you are wrong. I'll fight and argue with you. And we will have arguments on politics and other matters till the end of the day and next morning also. But I am right. And then this idea of not my fault. Notice that assertiveness and confidence become issues and concerns because they are showing up in the backdrop of what we are concerned about. Because our concern is to be right, to look fine, it is not my fault, I must be fine. In this context, what shows up are issues like assertiveness, confidence. Notice that the concern, as soon as we leave the realm of assessments, it will be different. There is a new kind of realm waiting for us as soon as we leave this world of assessments. And it's possible. It may not be possible to leave this realm, but I can let this realm be. When I allow the darkness to be dark, then I have power over it. We will talk a little bit more about it. So these are the kind of matters which show up in this area, which is asking for our healing now. It is time to heal. It's time to begin to give ourselves our self-love. And it has two coins. Notice when I'm concerned about myself, it shows up as two areas. One is this idea of who I am, which brings shame, which is the context in which shame shows up. What I am in my own eyes. I might not be okay. Who I am is not okay. This self-acceptance is not there. I don't honor myself fully for who I am. So in this context, there is shame present. Shame is like as if refusal to accept myself. There is some aspect of myself that I'm not accepting. On the other side is guilt. What I did, what I do. We tell the lie that I do it. No, you don't do it. You did it. You're not doing anything right now. You did it. But you carry guilt. So there is no context of self-forgiveness. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is to let past be past. Let past be. Don't try to have a fight with the past. Why did this happen? Past is already gone. Now I'm fighting with it. I have no power over past, but it's already gone. So these two coins, so these two sides of the same coin are asking for my love and healing. One is the idea of who I am, that I have come to call myself, which is causing me shame. And this other idea is what I do. These are both areas which will need your attention and healing. And what does it mean to give yourself self-love? Is this something selfish? Is this something? What are we talking about self-love? We are talking about healing as self-love. We're talking about giving yourself spaciousness and taking the full truth of magnificence that you are right now. Not talking from the lie that you wore yesterday or 1 minute back. You are willing to acknowledge the hugeness that you are right now. Werner, who created this training of Landmark, which I have also mentioned before, that some of these concepts, and the book from which I'm also quoting, Speaking Being, he's a subject of that book also. He says something very remarkable. He says, while trying to achieve self-enlightenment or nirvana, people will give everything up. People will give up money, their family, their homes, their usual possessions, and their way of life. But they will not give up one thing that is most dear to them. What will they not give up? It is their notion that they are not enlightened. That I am already small. I am small. No, मैं बहुत छोटा हूँ. मैं बहुत छोटा ही रहूँगा. मैं बहुत छोटा हूँ. मैं बहुत छोटा हूँ. I am not okay. I am small only. They will not give that up. In fact, Krishna spent his Gita explaining the idea of Atma. And the Atma was self. Like we call it in Atma Vishwas. We are talking about self-confidence. We have turned that Atma into Atma as if the third party existence, like a ghost which leaves us. It is self. Self is God. Honor that. That's what Krishna's message was. You are God, I am too. That is Krishna's message. But we have spent our lifetime spending, as if separating the goodness from us. All goodness are you, all badness am I. So we don't want to give up this notion that I'm small. So it's time to fully own ourselves. Fully own the truth of how huge we might be really. And come from there. Because that's the only truth. Whatever is small and shameful about you is a lie. Whatever you are guilty of is a lie. It happened earlier. It's not existing right now. So it's time to heal, to bring self-love to yourself. So you have to take off this burden of this barrier from withholding love from yourself. It's not, you do not need to deliberately love yourself. You have to take off the barrier and you're automatically accepting yourself. This lie that we keep telling ourselves that I am insignificant and bad is not true. It was yesterday. I have to come from my place of magnificence and completion. I am huge. That is what it means to honor myself. And so this is the question that we are upon right now. As I was asking right now, what would be your new concerns if you were completely out of the realm of assessment? Just see if you can make it completely real for yourself. Notice that in every corner of your being, Amit that I was calling Amit, Rajiv that I'm calling Rajiv, that Rajiv is calling himself Rajiv, is concerned about assessments only. If Rajiv forgets Rajiv, if Rajiv forgets assessments, if I'm no longer concerned about myself being small and others being small, then what is the new kind of concern which shows up? What is the new kind of context that shows up? What is the new realm? What is the quality of existence then? When you forget who I am as an ego, small, insufficient, I have to be more better. When you are willing to look past us, on the other side, just beyond it, and confront the truth squarely between the eyes, as the magnificence that you are, what is the new realm that it opens? What is the quality of that realm? What are the new concerns? Yes, please, Vinayji.
The new concern would be, are we all equal? Or say, am I equal to others?
So it not just shows up as are we, it shows up as we are equal. It shows up as I am. In fact, it shows up as an intuitive truth that I am possibly equal. Not just equal. I am one. I am not loving another human being. I begin to see that the one that I'm loving and me are mirror images. We are same. They are appearing separate, but actually it's my own image that I'm loving. See if you can be present to the context which is on the other side of assessments, just beyond assessments, just on the beyond. But if you are fighting the assessments, let me come out of assessments, that's not how to look past them. Let me say that again. If you are trying to look through the river to the bottom of the river, you will have to allow the water to be still. You will have to so you have to let this world of assessments be there. You can't resist it because it will create mental noise. It will not permit you to see. So the key to looking past it is to let assessments, to grant yourself spaciousness that I am this kind of assessment being, and look past it as if looking through the water which is murky. But when you let it be still, it clears off and then you are able to see through. And it shows up as a new reality. What is the quality of this reality? Just give me a few words. Let's make it more real. Just past the world of assessments. On the other side, there is a new reality you experience. What is that reality? Yeah, Rajiv. Any thoughts?
I'm
Vinay.
I'm not sure, but can it be called peace or equanimity?
Okay. So the words are many, but the essence is the same. You have an experience of what you're describing, and notice all of these words describe that experience. Can you notice that? Yes. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, right? Just starting to think. And I have always been thinking about this, especially in the last 1.5 years. If I just stop this madness around me, right? So I get the notion of, we are all equal, right? There's no difference. We don't even need to do all this to just make ourselves look good or make ourselves look bad, or the validations that we go for. Just that I think that transition itself needs to be helped a little bit. Like, I don't think none of us would be, or at least I would be comfortable on the other side of the fence when I'm not doing this assessment and not keeping up with this.
So, Rajiv, thanks for sharing that. That's also so authentic, and it makes our job even more forward, from where we were. Rajiv, the key is to be comfortable being the kind of human being who is always in assessment, not running from it, not trying to full stop it, and then looking past it. Like the key is not to try to disrupt these assessments. Let them be. Okay, let me share you in another way, or another metaphor. When I began meditating in 2008, there used to be a noise on the other side of the house, because I would meditate towards the end of the day, and then the morning I was trying to meditate. जोर लगा के मेडिटेशन करने की कोशिश करते थे, वहां पे कुछ और आवाज आती थी, कभी किसी ने कुछ टीवी लगाया हुआ है ऐसा. So my initial attempt was to try to silence it. Can I reduce it? Can I turn them off, close the doors and all that? as I continued to do that, I started permitting that sound, tuning into the sound without assessment. Like, don't judge that sound. Do not try to evaluate and understand that sound, explain that, and put new meaning into that sound. Not that, but just let the sound be. And that somehow permits that sound to be. World will never be perfect to suit my meditation. My meditation will include the world as it is. And then I'll allow the world to be. In fact, the key is not to tune away from it. The key is to tune into this noise, any noise. And it allows my mind to focus. And it allows my mind to focus on the same sounds which are coming to me. In fact, that became the meditative practice. Outside a car is going, completely pay attention to it. A dog is barking, pay attention to it. Not in a fashion in which I've got to evaluate what is going on, whose car is it and whose dog is it and why is he making noise, but just without judgment, without assessment, without evaluation, without creating new meaning, can I just pay attention? Just bring the mind to do something. And so here again, to allow the realm of assessments to be, to give myself spaciousness that I am a human being and therefore I will always assess. As soon as you are able to create yourself that spaciousness of healing, only then you'll be able to calm your mind. Otherwise, your mind loves to create new assessments. Assessment will become the new assessment. I am assessing, dekha, now let me not assess. That is the new assessment. That's the new concern that you have.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, please. Vinayji.
See, for the personal life, what you said is fine. But when I talk about corporate life, it starts with self-appraisal, self-assessment, and then reviews and all. How can we get out of it?
Yeah, that's a very powerful question. So it's not that the assessments don't serve us. They do serve us. I mean, there is the intellect, but it is like get off the treadmill sometime. It is like that. Also, when we are in the realm of assessments with other human beings and ourselves, we are not able to look past the assessments at other human beings. I'll say that again. From the world of assessments, other human beings show up colored. I am concerned already about how I look. What is my comparison of other people? How do I compare? Am I good enough? I am probably not good enough. Am I to blame or not? In that context, others are showing up as probably better than me, probably judging me, probably comparing with me. How do I compare with them? I am in competition in that world. The others are showing up as something to do about, something to deal with, something to compete with, or something I've got to definitely assess. Now, imagine showing up with others in a realm in which there is no assessment. When you are with others outside the realm of assessment, they show up very differently. Tell me, how do they show up when you are out of assessments?
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit behind on this one again. I just thought came to me. There is an entire industry created around this now, which is about that the present, what you have understood so far, it needs to be updated, right? So giving you an example, I've been trying to relax a little bit. Where do I end up? I was watching something on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, not a very wise choice of thing to do, but I ended up there. I watched 20 small videos. I think 18 of them were telling me things are not okay. Change yourself. This is not good. And this is personal life. This is outside of corporate life, to Vinay sir's point. Corporate life, we understand, right? You do 20% growth this year, then they want another 20% and this and that. That is a nightmare in itself, or a jungle in itself, which self-serving itself. But Even in personal life, the way you cook your eggs are not okay. The way you drive is not okay. The way you look, height, weight, this, that, BMI. So I think we are just like, and like you said, it is ubiquitous. It is actually just pervasive.
Absolutely, all pervasive. But Rajiv, I'll also invite you to now elevate this and own it. Whatever I pay attention to exists. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Now you are present to it, so this is existing. But for you, it is present as if it's coming from outside. For you right now, it is present as if world is causing it. I'm saying that's not the truth. It exists here. In my spectacles, my specs are not clean. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
I have to clean here. It's not the world which is telling. World is just pointing out what is not okay already for me. I'm grabbing the opportunity to clean my specs literally. What I'm saying is that when you tell me my BMI is not okay or something is not all right, I'm already waiting for you to tell me. I'm already tuned into it. I'm already looking on Instagram for what can I improve. I'm just saying. I'm also saying like the world is not singing a song on its own. I've got my radio frequency tuned to that frequency. They will always tell. You're absolutely right, because they are also born in the same context now. They are also dealing with the same. Like I am dealing with something's not okay. They are dealing with something not all right. So the powerful question at this point is this. When I'm outside the realm of assessments, how do others show up? When I am just for a moment, imagine the context in which there is no assessment. How do others show up in that space? I am not assessing. Now, how do others show up? Anybody? Yeah, Gaurav.
Compassion comes.
Can you see that? Can you feel it within you? That as soon as your assessment is gone, something else is taking the context. Something else is taking your concern, and that is called something like compassion, maybe. Just notice again. Yeah, Gaurav? Tell me what else is. Yeah, when you are not in the world of assessments, you are with other human beings and not assessing them, not improving them, fixing them, not fixing yourself, not comparing at all anything. Then others are present. You are present to another kind of concern when you're with people. What are those concerns?
How can I help them?
Wow. Is this present for you now? Can you see that? Notice that the concern of assessments, when you drop it, your concern immediately is how can you serve them? How can you help? They are struggling in their own life with the same concerns. So there is an opportunity for you to heal yourself here. And when you heal here, a new set of concerns are born for people out there. Let's take this moment to conduct a little bit of an exercise. I spoke about that we will do a healing exercise. Let's take this moment to do that. I'll invite you to turn your videos off for a few moments, because this is an inward looking exercise. Just once again, even if you've done it again, even if you memorize or remember a part of this exercise, see if you can do this exercise as if you're doing it for the very, very, very first time. This is an opportunity for healing yourself. So the first thing is to slow everything down. Slow down. There's no need to do anything. Just put your pens down. Make yourself comfortable in your chair and just slow everything down. And as you slow down, just match your speed, your pace of work, of thinking, to the gentle pace of the universe. Allow everything to slow down. Breathe. At the most comfortable breath, give your breath a lot of spaciousness. This time, when you breathe, breathe through your heart. Bring spaciousness and time to your breath. Bring ease and love in your breath, and let these pass through your heart. Gently breathe through your heart. Now notice, when you were thinking about the old concerns that we spoke about, which emotions are present? When you are thinking about that there is something not enough, something's not okay, as if you do not belong, you're not loved, you have to be more, better, different. You may be wrong, you have to look good. Which emotions are present? Allow these emotions to be there in you and gently close your eyes. Just notice when you think about this context that I'm not okay. I'm not okay yet. Even yet. I'm not okay about this and that. I'm not enough about this, about my health, about my job, about my communication, about my appearances and my wisdom. Something is not enough. I have to be better, more different. What emotions are present? I don't belong here. I am often misunderstood. They don't understand me. Nobody understands me. I am alone here. Nobody really supports. Nobody fully understands me. What emotions are present? It's not my fault. Why does it look like it is my fault? I am not to blame. What emotions are present? They don't love me. Nobody loves me fully, accepts me fully, acknowledges my ordinary brilliance. People don't do that. What emotions are present? Name these emotions. Notice the sadness. Notice the hopelessness. Notice the heaviness. Notice the comparisons you make with others of your wisdom, of your smartness, of your abilities, of your physical conditions, of your family, of your possessions and job, of your abilities. Notice the comparisons. What emotions and feelings are present? Give name to these emotions and feelings. I have to deal with the world alone. Nobody will help me. Notice the fear, the heaviness, the panic, the sadness. Notice what is not possible because of these emotions. When you are looking at the world, your life, what is not possible? Is it possible for you to be happy? Is it possible for you to be light? Is it possible for you to be at ease? Is it possible for you to be in new action? This heaviness does not allow some of the things to be possible. Notice these emotions fully. Call these emotions by name. Now, name these emotions: heaviness, pain, sadness, fear, anxiety, frustration, unhappiness. Now, in the next step, separate the raw experience, the physical experience of these emotions from the names, from the labels you give them. Distinguish the raw energy of these emotions in your body. Experience these emotions. Where in your body are these present? Where is fear present in your body? Distinguish its raw energy. Where is anxiety present in your body? Notice its experience and its raw energy. Which part of your body is it? Notice the sadness in your body. Where in your body is it present? Focus on the physical experience. Experience the raw energy of sadness. Experience the raw energy of heaviness. Where in your body is it present? Any other feelings that you have had? In this context of yourself being among people, whether you're enough or they are enough, or assessments, notice the physical presence of these emotions, these feelings in your body. Distinguish the raw energy of these feelings. And now give space to them. Fully allow these feelings, permit them. Lovingly recognize your feelings, do not judge them. You don't have to explain them. You are entitled to your feelings of sadness, of anxiety, of fear. Give space to these feelings. Feel them fully. You are huge. Give a lot of room and space to these feelings. Stop trying to reduce these feelings. Stop trying to change them or fixing them. Give up any resistance you have had to them. Be okay with these feelings. Don't let them leave. Welcome them. Invite them. Don't make them go away. Don't look away from them. Be with these feelings. Sit with these feelings. Breathe love into these feelings. Breathe into these feelings. The feeling of sadness, feeling of fear and anxiety, frustration, or sadness, or heaviness. Where in your body are these feelings? Separate their raw energy. Don't look away from them. Let them expand. Let them flow naturally. Give them infinite space. Give them infinite time. Let them occupy every cell in your body forever. Give them life. Let them occupy every cell in the universe. Embrace these feelings. Accept them. Stop trying to solve them. Do not blame yourself for them. Breathe into them. Breathe life into them. Breathe silent love into them. Give them a lot of space. And now, as you do this, notice what has become possible. Notice in your life what is possible in the context where you were looking earlier, where there were no possibilities or there were less possibilities, there was heaviness. Notice it's lighter now. Some new things have become possible. Bring your mind to what has become possible. What action is possible? What are you committed to? And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. So the work is very simple. It is to be with these feelings which are present rather than running. You're welcome to turn on your videos. What is your experience right now? Even if the feelings have not left right now, is there anything that you want to give voice to? Anything that is present for you that you are inclined to share or give voice to? Anyone? Yeah, Gaurav?
One question comes to me: when you allow the feeling to come to space, for period of time you become uncomfortable as well, and then it goes away. And maybe I feel by practicing it, that uncomfortableness also will reduce the span of time. Am I right? Or
It is like being with the noise that I was avoiding. You know, that noise in the other side of the room which was troubling me. It's like I have to be with it. It'll come with practice, but it'll go. You're absolutely right. The resistance, with resistance, that persisting feeling will go away. When there is no resistance, that feeling will also not be there. It is there because of resistance.
So, okay. So I could not completely follow the small exercise though, just to admit in all honesty. But I was able to draw a lot of comparisons where how I got to a point where I got to and why this is such a troublesome area. And I think you can also notice that I'm being very vocal on this. I'm agitated actually a little bit. There was I'm just sharing with everyone. There was a point when I said I should surround myself with people who are better than me, right? So, and then as I matured, right, then I replaced them with people who I'm not competing with, but they are experts in their own area, right? Now, what I think I have failed to do, and again, I'm using a negative word, failed to do, is because had this conversation happened, what we are having today, probably I would have understood that when I'm doing all this, I'm setting myself up for this assessment, right? And the takeaway for me today is I need to find time to tell myself that this assessment is good to a certain extent and get that balance, right? And it helps you, like you said, but you should know where to kind of just draw a pause and say, no, this is where it stops. Now, this is my thing. And I'll tell you why. There was a point when I was 5 years back or 6 years back, there used to be this notion, it's one life, do as much as you can, right? And that it becomes like the concept, right? I have to do this because it's one life. After listening to you today, Amit, what I am coming to realize is it is still one life. What about living a life without validation, without assessment? What about that? There is none of that in my life, at least. So I need to get that 50-50 balance, at least between the two things. That yes, 8 hours you can do your validation and assessment and whatever you want to fight with, but then it needs to stop. And then you go into the other direction where your same one life where you should live without assessment, validation. And like Gaurav was saying, those feelings of compassion and helping others should also come in your. Then I think it is a balanced portfolio.
Yeah. And how will you create not assessment?
Yeah. So that's the key.
Yeah. So that it does not become one more kind of assessment of assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
like you talked about. Yeah.
I see you, and thanks for that powerful powerful sharing, Rajiv. And I'm also inviting you to now see that the other side is just spaciousness, being with it, just being with it. Our opportunity there is to just be with it, sit with assessments, be willingness to be with assessments, not resisting assessments. Right? Thanks for sharing that, though. So here is what I'm inviting you to do for yourself. And it's a little bit of expansion, and it's a little bit of giving space to yourself. That creates a sense of self-satisfaction. Not because you have already arrived at your destination, because this path and where you are here only, and you will always feel you have not yet arrived even till the last day of your life. Because we will have to feel that we are at destination now only. We'll have to create it now that we are at our destination. We are already here. And so, sometimes how frogs hop. They hop 3-4 times and then they stop. I'm here. Consolidate, celebrate, honor yourself for being here. Because you're already complete. There's nowhere else to go. And then start again. I'm joyfully improving. And then hop again and stop. I'm here. Because life has its character. It will ask us to go forward. And as Vinayji said earlier, that when you are in the work context, you have to have some sort of forward motion. But like forward, pause. But in every spiritual opportunity that we have to celebrate that I'm already complete. I may not be perfect, but there are parts of me which are pretty awesome. I am complete. And when will it be that I am awesome enough? Right now. Awesome enough already. I am here and I'm joyfully going forward. And this is also an invitation to let go of something. Can you see that this is an invitation to release something? It's an invitation to let go of something that we were considering, something like a self-sacrifice, some ego that we were holding on to, that I'm not enough. That's an ego, right? Ego doesn't show up as pride. I am better than you. No. It shows up sometimes as my need to show that I'm better than you because I worry that I may not be good enough. So the ego is this notion that you don't deserve your honor, that you are less than how you should be, that you are holding on to that. I am Amit, and Amit is not enough. Amit has to further. So now letting go of that version of Amit who is not enough is ego that I have to gently release. And I have to permit myself to honor myself in a fashion that I'm already complete. Not just complete, I'm fully divine. Divine in a fashion here and now, in which nowhere to go, nothing more to add. already complete. And when you are anchored to this divinity like a flag, you are standing on a firm ground. This is your ground, and you are complete. Then put a flag there. Put your mark there. This is where I am. I am complete. Consolidate here. All scattered self, bring inside here. Bring within yourself and celebrate. I am already complete. So there is an opportunity to let go of something. What is this that you are letting go of? Just share. Just share if something comes up for you. What is it that you are letting go of personally? I am letting go of. What is your version of not being enough? How do you assess yourself, which you were not ready to release? Anyone? Yeah, Gaurav.
Risk something not able to take it.
Yeah. Say that again. I couldn't hear properly.
Risk.
Sorry. Crib.
Risk. Risk.
Risk. I don't take enough risks. That's my assessment of myself. I hear you. That risks. I don't take enough risks. I'm far too cautious. I am risk averse. That's an assessment of myself. Anyone else? What is it that you have to? What is the time? Time has come to release something, let go of something about yourself, your notion of yourself. What version of yourself? Yes, Vinayji.
I would like to let go being judgmental
Yeah,
of
how
others.
beautiful. How beautiful. Yeah, I hear you.
That's really killing me. And
Yeah.
it's important.
Vinayji, also when you are releasing being judgmental, also release the notion that that it is not okay to be judgmental. Both have to go simultaneously. Release being judgmental as well as release I am far too judgmental. Give yourself a lot of space also in that area. Give yourself also the freedom from judgment. Notice that with the spectacle that I judge others, keep judging myself also. I am too harsh on myself also, on others also. The same version of harshness I show up with this guy, and same harshness I show up with that guy. Same harshness I am looking at myself, same judgment. I have to be more, better, different here, and I have to make others more, better, different there. Right? Spaciousness in both areas. Beautiful. Anybody else?
Yeah, like what I about to say, like being harsh on myself.
Yeah.
So being to make more love to myself. So there I will work on not being harsh on myself.
Beautiful. So give yourself a lot of healing space. We are calling it healing because when there is something untrue that we are holding on to, we can't replace that untruth with another untruth. We have to just heal it then and there completely. And the only thing which will heal is spaciousness. So when we say we have to let go of something, we have to let come something also. Let go and let come. There is something that has to come in, and that something which is coming in is perhaps spaciousness. We are calling God, we are calling peace, we are calling calm, we are calling self-acceptance and love. Spaciousness. Yes, Vinayji, you wanted to say something, Vinayji? No? Okay. Got it. So there is something to be released. So there is something to be allowed in, at ease with oneself. Tell me, what are you allowing in?
So for me, I'm allowing the wisdom of letting there be moments in my day where I am consciously focusing on that there will be no assessments, right? Judgments, validations, external or internal. And it's very important for me as me to just be myself for like that little, bubble of time, and then see if I can expand it from here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I hear you. Self-acceptance, self-love, self-healing, giving spaciousness. Yes, Vinayji.
I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask that, when you're letting go something, what you are letting in. This particular line, I believe, is marvelous. Because if I let go something and do not allow anything else to replace it, then either inside there is a vacuum or the other such feelings will expand and they would become more forceful. So when I'm trying to let go something, I must simultaneously find out what I am replacing it with. Then probably the change would be permanent. It's for the team to validate.
Absolutely, Vinayji. So what comes to your mind? What is it that you personally would like to let in?
Yeah, correct. I really need to think about it whenever I am giving up anything.
So there is this beautiful line somebody said that I find really interesting, and notice it's there on the slide also. Let go, let God. It's
Sorry?
like it's letting go is like letting God in. Letting God in, which means like that perfect acceptance is God, isn't it? Perfect universal self is God. Perfect spaciousness is God. So letting God in. But you can think about what is the version of what you want to allow in. Letting go of something and letting God in. Allowing God to take over. Moving on. Notice when you leave this context, your attention goes into what people are dealing with. When you are with people, you are suddenly present to how they are already caught up in these concerns. They are actually suffering. Notice that people whom we think, who in our own lives, in our own families, in our own offices, they are caught in the same concern. They are small in a big world, which is indifferent from them. Their world doesn't care for them. They are not okay. They have to compare and they have to assess. They have to cover it up as if there is a need to cover up something. They have to hide something where they are insufficient. They are unloved. And it is as if their fault. So they have to constantly make up for it. Notice that they are suffering. Notice what is present for them. When you are outside the world of assessments for one fraction of a second, immediately you are present to how people are suffering. They are still in that world. Can you notice that there is an opportunity for you to serve and create the same joy that you are now creating for yourself? It's an opportunity to create it for them. But that doesn't mean that they are not enough. Their feeling of not being enough has to be relieved. They are already enough. You don't have to correct them. You have to honor them. You have to love them, give them a lot of space. They will not accept your acknowledgement. They will not be able to take it. You have to tune into such spaciousness. You have to be such space in which they find perfect acceptance. They for once begin to feel loved. So I'm inviting you that this is the new sets of concerns. As soon as you are outside the world of your own assessments, you are concerned with the pain of others, with suffering of others. You are concerned about what can I do? If you are, so this is a lesson in assertiveness. Here you go. as soon as you are not concerned with yourself, as soon as you are concerned with the concerns of other people, you will be powerfully assertive. You will speak spontaneously for whatever is greater good. You are not worried about yourself. At that time, you are powerfully concerned about other people. When I train students who are MBA fresh passing out for MBA to be powerful in interview, how to have interviews in which they can be powerful, I train them that empathize with the interviewer. Can you notice how tired he is? Can you notice how exhausted he must be? That he's trying so hard to assess so many candidates, and it's not easy for him. And he's trying to ask brilliant questions. It's not easy for him. It's difficult to think of new questions. He's trying to look good. He's trying to appear okay. Can you empathize sitting in our chair? If you can empathize with the interviewer, your worry for yourself will go, and you will be concerned. How can you make him comfortable? How can you answer in a fashion in which he understands it fully? And at that point of time, you will be a very powerful human being in that interview. And the other person will notice your love and power, not your limitedness and concern and fear. So when you are worried about being assertive, be concerned for the person in front of you. Bring yourself to notice what human beings pain about, what are their struggles. See if you can bring yourself to notice that. And how to do that is also something curious. It's about listening to the exact words the other people have spoken. I'm not even talking about those people who are farther away. Begin with the people closest in your family. First, pay close attention to what your children are saying, exact words. And then recreate their world. What does it mean to recreate? You'll have to deliberately paint their world inside you. It'll take effort. You'll have to talk to yourself. What is their world like? Notice this painting in which the person is painting the other person's world for her, within herself or himself, so that you can empathize. Without that, there is no empathy. You have to recreate the other person's world within you. It'll need a deliberate description. First, with people at home. First, with wives. First, with wives, children, and then with boss. Recreate his world. With subordinates and other colleagues. Recreate their world. Recreate the world for customers. And be present. Notice when you are with your wife this time, notice the small marks and small curves of her face. Pay attention to the human being you are with. Bring yourself to be fully present to the human being. Notice the ordinary brilliance of these human beings, the ordinary beauty of every human being that you're with. It's ordinary and then special. There's no distinction. Notice that they are asking for you to create safety for them, create power for them. If you don't, who will? If you don't, who will create power for them, for your boss, for your wife, for your family? If you let them down, who is there for them? You are the last resort. That is the power you have. Be present. Bring yourself to be present to their worries. But you notice, let me just talk about this. You don't have to read it. Let me talk you through this. But you have plenty of rules. People around you feel misunderstood, alone, helpless, as if you don't understand them, as if you are not paying attention to them. When you are not paying attention to them, they get forceful, repetitive, or timid. When you are not, they are feeling misunderstood. Nobody gets them. They are alone. But you have strict rules of how people can be in your presence. You've got rules for people how to speak, how not to speak in your presence. You have got rules what is not okay to say in your presence. Like, for example, don't be too loud. Don't interrupt me. Don't tell me some things. Don't tell me I'm a liar. Don't tell me I'm ugly. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Strict rules. There are certain things you can ask me, but there are certain things you cannot ask me. Don't say that. Don't demand this from me. This is far too much. I can give you this much, but don't demand too much from me. Or you will be hurt. If they are too loud, you'll be hurt. If they say something, then you'll be hurt. Notice how fragile you have made yourself, as if you are breakable, tender, easily hurt and disappointed. In exchange of these rules, you promise them also that I will also never say something straight to you. I will never be too straight. I will never tell you some of the things which I don't want you to tell me. Notice how your view of them is as if they are also very, very fragile. So you make those rules for yourself also. I will never say something straight to them. I will never demand from them excellence. I'll never demand from them, why are you not punctual? I'll never say some of the things to them because they are also very fragile, breakable, tender, easily hurt and disappointed. It's a world full of fragile people. You are fragile and other people are fragile. Everybody is powerless. Nobody is powerful. Everyone walks on eggshells around you. You walk on eggshells around other people, like eggshells. Don't break any eggs. You're walking very, very carefully. Nobody says anything powerful to you. Nobody demands integrity from you. And you demand no integrity from anyone. Everyone is small, weak, fragile in your presence. They can't be themselves in your presence. And you can't be yourself in their presence. It's a powerless world, fragile world. Notice this is not generous. Notice how life shows up in a fragile world. Generosity would be if you are so powerful that you give permission to your people to be exactly as they are, not to diminish them, not to show up as a reduced version of themselves or an altered version of themselves. You are that safe space in which they can come with no change. Perfect acceptance. First, there must be some place they can go, which is sanctuary for them, in which they are perfectly acceptable. Notice even to our children, we are not that space. Even to our own wife, we are not that space. Even to our subordinates and boss, we are not that space. They don't have a permission because we are fragile people. Time is for you to be huge now. Time is to be huge, to demand excellence, to be powerful. When you are willing to be demanded of, only then you will demand. That means first, if other people demand excellence from you, if you give permission to others to demand integrity from you, only then you will demand integrity from them. If you give them permission to ask you, Amit, why are you not on time? Only then you will have permission to ask others, why were you 10 minutes late? So make yourself powerful. Make a list right now quickly. What is it that you can't hear? What are the rules that you have made for people? List those rules. That you have for people. Take a moment. Notice how it steals power from people, how it suffocates them, how it steals space from them, how they are very careful in your presence. You tell them that you are hurtable. You hint to them that you are hurtable. Now the time is to be powerful. Yes, please, Vinayji.
This is a very, very powerful slide. And it will take a lot of time to sink in.
I hear you. And here is the
And
target.
very, very, very relevant to me.
And here is the objective, the goal, like they say, the goal that I'm going for. This is an invitation to me and to you. I am also working on it, and I'm inviting you that in my presence, how do others show up? My assessment, if I have to assess, will be, are they being powerful in my presence just because I'm there? Or are they being diminished because they are in my presence? Not by doing, but by being present. Are they more powerful in my presence? Are they feeling nurtured in my presence? Are they feeling stretched and demanded to be huge human beings? That means I am asking them to be huge, but I'm supporting them to be huge. I'm acknowledging them. So now that brings us to the question of acknowledgement. So the idea is acknowledgement. What does it mean to acknowledge? Acknowledgement is to acknowledge generously, to listen for what is it that the other person needs acknowledgement for. We remember our discussion that world does not have an is nature, that it is fixed. It's a beautiful day. I create here. It's not beautiful out there. My wife is beautiful. I don't create. She's not beautiful out there. In my mouth, when I say that she's beautiful, she begins to become beautiful. So it's an invitation to create. Acknowledgement is an invitation to create. When you're a child, remember, now this is something that I'll never forget in my life. My physics teacher told me, Amit, what a great student you were. I was an ordinary physics student. But I got better and better and better because my teacher kept acknowledging me for something I was not great at. Acknowledgement is an act of creation and construction. When you are acknowledging a human being, you are creating that human being from that place. He is not already good. She is not already good. You are creating goodness and ability because you acknowledged it. You know what is the test of acknowledgement? The test of acknowledgement is when you acknowledge another human being, did they leave as a bigger person than how they came in? And acknowledgement is not to be done because it is true. It's not a beautiful day out there. I just told you. It's beautiful here. It is creation. It's not true. It becomes true because I said so. You are a beautiful human being, all of you. You are wonderfully brilliant and generous. Why? Because I created that right now. So acknowledgement is not done for their performance. It's not the truth that you're acknowledging. You are creating it. Best way to acknowledge is to acknowledge from the future. What is it that they want to become? Acknowledge them for that. They are brilliant in mathematics. They are already so brilliantly, they have done this. Your son has done this mathematics question so well. Next time he'll be a better mathematician. He sang that song so beautifully. She has done such beautiful cooking today. Next time she'll be a better cook, your daughter. So acknowledgement is to create a person. It is like your stand to support that person. You have taken a stand to support that person. Remember, there is no is world. There is no is a beautiful person. There is no is a beautiful mathematician. There is no is a beautiful cook. You create wonderful. The other day, my sister and her husband were present, and I told that I am in love with my wife's cooking. My brother-in-law asked me, is this true, or are you truly, really flattering her? I didn't explain to her, but you know the truth of that. My wife is the best cook in the world for me here. And I'm holding to that truth. I love her cooking.
Amit, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Ravi.
Like if that is not a truth, and if that way, if we starting acknowledging everyone around it, so are we not becoming fake?
Yeah, so this is a beautiful question. Let's just pause into this, and it's a very awesome question. Let's just stand. You know, I don't receive acknowledgement. Let me just tell you, Ravi, and all of you, you receive it directly that you're brilliant human beings. You're so generous human beings. You're really, really extraordinary human beings committed to your own personal development and growth. You are marvelous professionals. When I tell you that, it doesn't land as truth. When I'm saying it from here, by the time it gets there, it gets discounted in your mind. Can you see that?
Mm.
Yes, that you are so handsome and so generous, and such wisdom is there in you. You are not letting that land on you. You are not letting it come to you. You know why? Because you have a judgment against the act of acknowledgement itself. You believe that acknowledgements are flattery, that authenticity is missing from acknowledgement. There must be something that Amit wants in return. When somebody
Yeah.
acknowledges
Yeah,
you, the
because
first thing is, shall I give it back to him also? You are also great.
no. So because that is assumed as naiveness, right?
Yeah.
Basically, सीधा साधा आदमी है, मेरी तारीफ करी, मैंने believe कर लिया, then I am assumed to be a buddhu, right?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you in simple Hindi. That is how we learn to be street smart.
And now I am inviting you to do the reverse. When I was training to be the coach from one of the best trainers, mentors in the world, Peter Redding, what he does is like as follows. We are 30 people getting trained. He'll put each one of us in the center. An entire afternoon is spent like this, that one person is in the center. Everybody will acknowledge him and her. Imagine we have no capacity to receive acknowledgement. When you are receiving acknowledgement, you feel like putting hand on the other person's mouth. Arey bas kar na yaar.
Bas kar.
Bas kar ja yaar. I don't believe you anyway. Who, me? Deserving acknowledgement? Who, me? Who, me good? Who, me wise? Who, me kind? No, yaar. Mere ko apna sach pata hai. That's what we have to let go of. Open, Peter Redding will make us open our arms. Remember that photograph that I showed you? That accept acknowledgement like this. वो ऐसे बोलता था, ऐसे बैठो. Receive the acknowledgement straight in your chest. Because if you cannot receive acknowledgement, you will not have any heart to give it. You have a resistance against acknowledgement. You have a racket. You have held that acknowledgement itself is inauthentic. And it is not true. The person is appreciating. Take it at its face value, no. Honor him. Take it as it is at its face value. First, learn to receive acknowledgement. Only then you will be ready to give it. Otherwise, you've got a judgment against acknowledgements themselves. Accept acknowledgement like this. Next time when somebody gives you acknowledgement, just say, I get your acknowledgement. Thank you. And you don't have to return it also. You are also a very, very good person. You don't have to add anything on top of it. Number 2, when you are giving an acknowledgement, don't qualify it. You are a fantastic human being. Just ye thoda improve kar lo. Like we do to उसमें how to win friends and influence people में उसने एक मैसेज दिया था कि how to criticize people is थोड़ा पॉजिटिव पहले बोलो, थोड़ा पॉजिटिव बाद में बोलो, बीच में से थोड़ा नेगेटिव भी बता दो. That may be a way to how to criticize, but that's not a way how to acknowledge. When you acknowledge straight. Don't say थोड़ा ये improve कर लेना यार बस. So I'm inviting you. There is no scarcity of acknowledgement. There is no scarcity.
Yes, and Amit, practically क्या है कि we are coming out of the corporate world यार too much. Okay, वहाँ तो दुकान ही नहीं चलती ना criticize किए बिना. See, that is the problem.
I completely get you, but notice that criticism only gets defensiveness from the other person.
वो ठीक है, but this is how it is somewhere, right? And of course, we are all trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Some part of it, I create people the way you are saying. You create. There is no is. You tell them you are great, and they go and achieve it also at the same time.
100%.
Right? होता है ना वो आप किसी को बस बता ही देंगे तो वो अपने आप ही करने लग जाता है, and it's a magic that happens on its own.
Magic. And इसके ऊपर I have written a blog how कभी आप पढ़ के देखिएगा कि there's an experiment on Rosenthal, this Pygmalion effect. If you praise a person, the person's performance increases, even if that person is an animal. जानवरों के साथ भी होता है वो. If you believe that rat will be better at solving a puzzle, that rat actually solves the puzzle better. We have no clue why it happens. They get some sort of expectation translates into reality. And there is also the opposite effect. It's called the golem effect. Golem effect is, if you think that the person will do badly, he will do badly.
Most likely he will do badly.
It's like an experimental data is proving it. I'll share those links with you. So you just see that. Now, here is so first of all, guys, I know that I've run out of my time. Do I have your permission to take kind of 30 minutes? It might go 15 to 30 minutes extra. Do I have your permission? Yes.
No issues from my side. Please.
Thank you very much. You are the most difficult time wise. I know that, right?
Yeah, it is going to be 4 o'clock.
I know you might never sleep. Rajiv,
Amit, I acknowledge you for giving your time, extra time for us.
And you are adding so much value to this discussion, Rajiv. Thank you so much for being here for all of us. I mean, this makes a difference to this session itself.
Yeah, while you're responding to me, Ravi gave a very good compliment to you. He acknowledged you. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good one, Ravi.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just started learning now, implementing it.
And Ravi has acknowledged me a lot of times before in these sessions. You know, he's acknowledged generously a lot of
But you know, I mean, that acknowledgement was really from heart.
I know.
This is also, but now I am if there is a chance of acknowledging, I am starting doing it. That's all.
How powerful is that? Imagine living like this. You know, Ravi does not give up any chance to acknowledge. You know, every single chance to acknowledge, he will acknowledge. If within the last 3 days, I've got 3 or 4 acknowledgements from him. Within the last 3 days, because I was coaching him separately as well. Guys, there is no scarcity. You know, there is abundance of rightness available. Validate the person in front of you, even if he's on the other side of the table, and see magic happen. You know, there is something that happens magically, which is unbelievable. When you bring everything to table, then their conversation suddenly dissolves. You know, everything, as soon as you acknowledge the person, as if something magical happens. Let me tell you a story. Like, for example, you know, somebody tells you, brother, you are wrong in this. And you say, yeah, really, I am wrong. The argument suddenly ends. You know, there is no argument at all. There is this Zen story. Let me just share. And in that Zen story, what happens is that imagine this actually happening with you. You are in the boat and actually you drift to a sleep. You went to sleep sitting in a boat. And the boat is drifting, and suddenly it hits another boat. And you are woken up with jolt, and you are angry why the other person is hit so hard your boat. And then you wake up and you see, and you open your eyes and see there is nobody in that other boat. What happens to your anger?
Go away.
It disappears. It's like that. When somebody says to me, Amit, you're bald, I tell him 100%. I'm still looking for the 3 hair on my head. They are lost somewhere. Now talk to me. You know, then the conversation comes to an end. It comes to a completion. So when you acknowledge, as if there is magic that happens, it creates something magical. There is no argument thereafter. Bring everything to conversation. When you say to another human being invalidating, then there is a lot to say. But if you bring everything to conversation, there is nothing to say thereafter. So guys, you will receive some exercises. Let other people be admirable. You know what a dire need it is for them to look good. Bring that to them, right? Now, there is something that comes with difficulty as a subject of assertiveness, which is this question of saying no. Is it difficult for you to say no? Does it come easily for you to say no? How easy is it for you to say no in comparison to saying yes? How easy is it?
Most of the time, it is very easy for me to say no.
Right.
Most of the time.
Right.
And
I understand. I'm inviting you to assess. Often for a lot of people, saying no is quite difficult, but some people it may be very, very easy. But I'm inviting you to see that saying no is also just like acknowledgement. We are unable to say no because we have got a judgment against the word no itself. So I'll tell you now and see how it lands on you. Notice how it evokes, what it evokes in you. No. Allow it to land on you. Allow it to get to you. When I'm saying to you, no. Vinay, no. Rajiv, no. No. Gaurav, no. Ravi, no. All I'm saying is no. Notice what does it evoke? What does it do? Can you see that it shakes something here? We are not able to receive the no in perfect harmony. It doesn't create the same pleasant feeling that yes might. So you are not listening to my no just as no. You are listening to something that is coming along with no. I am just saying no, but you are hearing as if no, full stop, something else also. No, you are not good enough. No, I will not support you. No, I don't love you. No, I don't agree with you. No, something else. You are filling up that sentence of no with something else. And there is work to be done in this area when you're alone or in your coaching. Do your work simultaneously, separately, and notice when other person is saying no, what is it that you are adding to it? What did you just add to the no? Why does it invalidate to hear no? What judgment do you have against the simple word no? No is simple, no, full stop. So be ready to hear no. If you are ready to hear a million no's, then you are unstoppable. Then you are so powerful as a businessman that you will not get defeated. You will have infinite opportunity to making sales. You will have infinite opportunity to be successful. A young man who is able to say no will apply to a million universities till he gets the best admission. In million jobs. People normally can't take more than 3 no's in one row. After that, they get discouraged. Be ready to take a lot of no's and you are unstoppable. Because you can't take no, you are also not free to request. You're not free to demand. You're not free to request help. What if they say no? And along with no, you will hear, we don't care for you. You don't want to request help. So this is an opportunity again to see one more time that in this area of taking help, notice, is it as easy for you to take help, request help, as it is to give help? I'll ask it again. How easy is it for you to ask for help, even from a stranger? How easy, in comparison of that, is it for you to give help, say to a stranger? Can you see that it is difficult to ask for help? Can you notice that? Notice that you have a judgment against request for help also. You have a judgment that the person who is asking or taking help is just a little bit lower than the person who is giving help. You want to be that guy who wants to give help but never asks. It's an act of generosity to ask for help because it makes the other person feel a little superior. Be generous. Ask. Sometimes, it is generous to take a parent's gift. Parents sometimes give you 100. My father-in-law gives us money whenever we are there. Look at my age. My father-in-law loves to do that. He loves to give money. My wife used to resist and fight all the time. It's like small money. What is he giving? Like small money in his comparison of money. Then I told her once, your 10 minutes of argument, it's defeating the point of generosity that he wants to, and love that he wants to show. Be generous in acceptance. Lovingly say thanks. So here it is. Your goal is to request as much help as you want generously. And notice that let go of the judgment that you had with requesting help. It's time to drop hesitations and being small inside here. It's the time to be huge. It's time to be large and demanding. Demanding help, acknowledging freely. And it's time to be purposeful and really huge. Tell me if there is anything in the world of assessments, in the world of assertiveness that I'm not covered. I will send you an assignment which is very, very comprehensive. There's a lot to read in it. There's a lot to do in it. It'll invite you to do some transformation in your own life. And if you like, it'll make a lot of difference to you. You practice it. Bring practice to that assignment also. Is there anything that we should talk about in this context? Anything that I can clarify? We are approaching a conclusion of these programs. I want to also mention to you that, you see, what we started here was sharing of distinctions. Translating that into life sometimes has its own challenges. So you will begin to see that as you begin that journey, you will face a million hurdles. The idea is to keep inquiring into them. And if you have a coach, have conversations with your coach about it. I am here if you do not have a coach. I coach people full-time on this. And what I am is a stand for transformation of your being into powerful human beings. That's what I'm committed to. If you'd like one-to-one coaching at any time, I'm available. As I offer other programs, I'll also offer those to you. There is a request that I have from all of you. At the conclusion of these programs, I'll share a feedback form with you as a part of your assignments. Even if you leave other assignments, do please take time to give feedback to me, which will help me in both ways. It'll encourage me what you say, but at the same time, more importantly, do please give a conscious thought to how this can improve, how I can do better. That's my request to you. Tell me if there is anything else that I should talk about to complete our conversations about being powerful. Is there anything that you'd like to say or ask?
Yeah, one thing, I don't know if I missed it, but when you said, if you receive no, or generally people, when they receive no 3 times, they get discouraged. Then what to do?
So the exercise to be done is to stand in front of mirror, say no to yourself, or to get another family member or a friend to say no to you and see that it is hitting you. And doing the exercises to translate, what am I hearing along with no? Pause into it. What is that kind of no that I don't want to hear? That prevents me from asking also. I don't want to make requests also because I don't want to take no. So what am I hearing? And get ready to hear that. When the other person says no to you, now when you're doing exercise and another person is saying no to you, as a part of that exercise, you say to the other person, I hear you. You said no, and no is all you said. I hear you completely. I'm able to be with your no. The idea is to be able to hear no and stand your ground calmly. You see, the key to assertiveness is slowing down and creating silence. You will read about it in the exercises also. As you slow down and do not react when the no is given to you, hold your ground. Do not do anything. Be silent. Hold your ground. That's the way to be powerful. Do not yield. If somebody has said something to you, do not take 3 steps backwards. Stand there. He's not getting under your skin. He's just saying it. And create silence inside. If you can be with silence, you will be the most assertive person in the world.